Hey, we're Saints. Father Chris here. Welcome to our Crucifixional live stream. Glad to have you beautiful people with us. We are on this glorious Friday going to wrap up this week. And, I think I'm struggling inside with what all the rest of us are struggling with inside is this complete and utter lack of peace in the world. And I mean that obviously in the sense of wars. We have things going on in Russia and Ukraine. It has been going on for months and maybe longer. We have, the current war in Israel and Palestine and that whole thing that's going on. Now that one got even worse. I don't know much about politics, but I did just hear that Hezbollah in southern Lebanon is taking credit for making their attacks, and we're going to bring more. And then Iran, who backs Hezbollah, they're going to get it's just, you can see right now and that doesn't even talk about all the rest of the wars that we're not talking about. Insane. And we wonder, how are we going to help contribute to win this war or win those wars? And to ultimately, establish peace. And I think it's a really hard question because, the answer is we can't. I mean, really. And so that causes dissonance inside of us because we want to fix, we want to help, we want everyone to separate from fighting each other and break it up and let's live in peace. But we just can't do it. And that leads to this weird sense of helplessness. And we've been talking about this and working through it a lot. And I don't think we need to feel that helplessness because I think we can contribute to peace. And that's not by fighting wars on the other side of the world or in our own homeland. That's by fighting and winning the war within. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. When I say that, I'm talking about all of the struggles and the peacelessness that we may feel inside of ourselves. So many of us carry so many heavy things. Now, obviously, first, it's the pain that we're all feeling over seeing people being killed all over the world. Senselessly and in great number. That's a burden. Some of us may be caring for a loved one who is very sick and perhaps, unto death. I mean, that's heavy. I have not yet had to do that, but I don't look forward to it if I ever do have to do that. And with that, maybe there is a loved one who has already died from some illness or tragedy, and then there's that burden. Some of us struggle with the burdens of financial instability where I may not have enough money to put bread on my table today to feed my wife or husband or children or family or whomever. Some of us may just, be struggling with the financial instability that leads to I have no job, I can't find the right one, I'm not getting paid enough for what I do, I'm not doing what I should be doing, can't meet rent, mortgage, all that, that's stress. People feel a tremendous amount of peacelessness that comes with depression or anxiety, and I don't lump them together, but they are two, very separate and powerful forces, but they lead us to that same place of I don't know what to do anymore. I don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Some of us struggle with the feelings of isolation. We talk about that one a lot. I don't have anybody that loves me. I feel alone. No one understands me. No one gets me. People also struggle with, again, something we talk about a lot, the new trendy stuff about the gender issues. Well, people struggle with that stuff. I mean, we all have the right positions on that, but it's a struggle. Those people are not just flipping a coin, oh, it's Tuesday, let's, be depressed about it. It's something real in their lives. All those struggles, I mean, there's a million more, right? I think about teenagers, my boyfriend doesn't like me, or my girlfriend doesn't like me, or, struggling in school, everybody carries something. Everybody carries something. There are big ones and there are little ones, but they're all there and they're all very real. And I think they lead to a sense of peacelessness inside us. I know that when I think about my own struggles, whether personal or, like I said, looking at the state of affairs in the world, I feel that dissonance and I feel that heaviness, and it's there's a war raging inside me so bad I want to do something. All of my rambling leads me to this. We've set up the problem. I mean, it's that peacelessness, and we've looked to the world to find peace, right? Something that can restore that peace, something that will bring us that sense of equilibrium in our lives, right? That's what peace, by the way, means in the Bible. Peace is not simply the absence of war, obviously a part of it. But peace is when things are as they should be, right? The heavenly shalom. Things are as God designed them. And that means that internally we find that balance, that equilibrium. And so how do we find that? I mean, we've looked to the world and it's really made a mess for us, right? I mean, the peace that the world is giving us it ain't working, right? So obviously we need to look somewhere else. And I think that somewhere else, which again I know is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He is the grantor of peace. He is the sole grantor of the true peace, the only real peace that establishes peace within us. He says in the Gospel of John. Now, this is in the book of glory, right? What I'm going to read to you. It's chapter 14, and it's within a long discourse or monologue that Jesus gives before his passion and crucifixion. He says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives you, do I give you. Let your hearts not be troubled." He says, look, I'm giving you my peace, not the world's peace. It's my peace. And he goes on later in the same discourse to say, the world is coming after you, but don't worry, I've overcome the world, right? Like he, the Lord, is the sole grantor of peace. Now, what does that mean, right? As I think through this, a lot of us, I think, default into, "Dear Jesus, please send peace into my heart and take away all my pain and suffering," right? Well, that's not how that works, right? Jesus is not like in the heavens with a salt shaker of peace and he's going to sprinkle some on you and it's going to, flow down into your hearts. That ain't how it works. Having peace from Christ is not a magic act. It is only given by those who follow him. When we emulate Christ, when we live crucifixionally, we can then find that peace in our hearts, no matter the circumstances, no matter what our struggles may be. It requires that we emulate and live a crucifixional life, right? Now, to do that is very often, it's easy for me to stand in front of a camera and say that to you, but how do I do that? And you may be struggling with, how do you do that? I know that I did. For a long time, I struggled with, now that I've cracked this code about crucifixional living, how do I do it? What kind of a plan am I going to put in my own life so that I might be able to say, all right, now I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and it's going to put me on that pathway to peace. And by that inner peace, that change within me, I can then make it an impact on another person in the world and another person in the world who impacts someone, and maybe someday no Palestine, Israel, Russia, Ukraine type of stuff exists, right? So what is that plan? We built one because we were struggling with it too. Like I said, I deal with it just like all the rest of you. And we came up with something we are calling a battle plan. It's a 6-part battle plan. And the reason we use that, because it's the war within us, right? Like I said, I'm not going to fly to Israel and Palestine and solve that conflict. Nobody cares what I think anyways, right? Not over there. I've got to win that war within. We built a plan that is completely modeled on Christ's life. And by that, I don't mean the history of Jesus' life. I mean the actions of the cross in his life and how he conquered death through that cross. And this plan is, we've been talking about it for a long time. We've been working on it for a long time, but we are going to launch it live next week. In a couple of days, it's going to go live. And I want to encourage you all to go take a look at it, because in that struggle within, that war that we're waging within our own hearts, within our own minds, it is not insurmountable. By following Christ, following his life, you can do it. We have just built a plan to help you implement it. So it's there for you, and I encourage you to look at it and say, look, I can do this. I can do that. It's our style, man. It's our practicality. It's just like, look, we're not that smart anyways. We need a very clear step-by-step, battle plan for our own lives. We did it. So now we just want to share it. It's there. It's there. Just find it, warriorsaints.org. And I'm telling you, it can be one of those things that as we wage that war within us, within our hearts and minds, like I'm telling you, imagine a world, think about it like this, where just 1 million people to start, just 1 million people in this world all of a sudden started really truthfully living a crucifixional life. You don't think that's going to make a big impact? You don't think that the million of us warrior saints out there start to spread, the teachings of the gospel of Jesus Christ and his gospel of the cross to other people in the world? You don't think that's going to have some influence? I think it would have a huge impact, right? Whether or not we're able to pull that off, we'll leave that part to God. But fight we will, fight we must. So let's fight in a cross-like, Christ-like manner. Like I said, it's there. We built a plan. Join us. It's up to you. We're doing it. And actually, thank God, it works. I love it. love you. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be back Sunday for Orthros and Liturgy, 9 and 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, respectively. I was going to say respectfully, and it's also respectfully, but we hope you will join us. Spread the word. We love when you share and like. It helps us. We're thankful. God bless and keep you. We'll be back Sunday, and then, of course, on Monday to continue. As always, have a great weekend, and keep walking in the way of the warrior saint.